All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Herbert Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And I came across this video on YouTube and it's dealing with the doomsday bunkers for the super rich. So I'm going to play majority of this video and then I'm going to go into some scriptures all throughout the video. So I'll be pausing it and then grabbing scriptures as I go along. And Lord willing, may this lesson be edifying. So without further ado, let's start the video.
As you can see, this place is pretty much unchanged from the Cold War. This is a converted missile silo. How much can this place withstand?
It was engineered to withstand a 10 kiloton nuclear warhead.
You see how the super rich have these different bunkers all decked out because they believe that they're going to be down there living peaceably while the rest of the world is being destroyed. You see, and the only reason why the super rich, the elites, will be able to survive the nuclear destruction, right, is just to go into slavery. But then the Lord has, particular individuals, I don't know who they are per se, whereof they're going to go to try to hide in the bunkers, and they're going to try to hide in the heavens in their different, crafts or whatnot. But the scriptures say this, so we can start off with that. Let's go to the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 2, and it reads, "Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down." You see? So you're going to have Edomites because only the super rich, only the elites have access, and resources to be able to sustain themselves in situations like this. All right? To be able to create $100 million bunker. You see, it looked like a resort was down there. All right, and create these different crafts to try to escape the judgment. And even when you think about this series, there's a series on Netflix. It's called The 100. All right, and this is dealing with people trying to survive, or people that were surviving nuclear destruction, but they was in space. Okay, and where it gets the term 100 from is they sent 100 kids down to the earth, to see if it was livable again. Okay, but it just shows you throughout these different movies, different series, that E is finding ways to try to escape his judgment. All right, and that he's doing it by any means necessary. All right, but Amos 9 verse 2 again, it says, "Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence I will bring them down." All right. So wherever you may be, and the Lord want to get you, and He wants something to happen to you, that's just what it is. All right. The hell is representing the ground, right? The heavens is representing, in the sky. Let's continue on.
When it comes to the apocalypse, nothing's quite as terrifying as nuclear war. So, when the nuclear apocalypse comes, are we going to get blasted back into the Stone Age? Or can we use our heads and survive the end of days with the help of technology? Here in beautiful Colorado, one man is already thinking about the end of the world. Professor Brian Toon is an atmospheric scientist and an expert on nuclear winter. Brian, level with me. How likely is an all-out nuclear war, and should I be finding a bunker right now?
You never know for sure, because that's one of the real terrifying things here is that One person in the United States and one person in Russia could decide all by themselves to have a nuclear conflict.
How many nukes are there around the world? Who has them?
There are about 14,000 nuclear weapons in the world. More than 1,000 of them are held by Britain, France, India, Pakistan, Israel, and China. Each of those countries has 200 or 300. Then Russia and the United States have 90% of the missiles.
And you got guys talking about missiles ain't mentioned in the scriptures. Well, how you think this third world's war is going to play out? The all-out nuclear destruction. From what? From missiles, all right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. All right. So what is a smith? If you know anything about a blacksmith, it is a person that deals with weaponry. All right. Create weaponry. And the Lord put it on the spirit of these Edomites and dealing with the German scientists, to split the atoms and create nuclear weaponry. And this nuclear weaponry was prophesied about of this third world war. Let's get and I got so many scriptures coming to my mind. So I try to take my time. Malachi 4 verse 1. How is this world going to be purged? Okay, how is the earth going to be cleansed? Now we know the Lord made the covenant already and set the bow in the sky, which is the rainbow, that he wouldn't flood the earth no more. But now it's going to be by what? By fire. Right? It's the book of Malachi 4 verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. Okay? So within this thermonuclear destruction, it's going to burn everything up. It's going to burn everything. Scripture talks about how it shall burn with fervent heat. It's in the book of 2 Peter, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. 2 Peter 3 verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. But by which way? What way how the earth will be burned up? Thermonuclear destruction. You see, all these nations got all these missiles to use them. Okay, now I mentioned how the smaller nations had about 200 to 300, the different other nations. But mainly, who has the most? America, Babylon the Great, and then Russia, the big bear. Because that's who the end is going to come from too. The big bear. And the Lord is turning back their jaws to be in that Cold War spirit. Let's get the book of Joel. Book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And this is, what did the guy say? That these other nations, now have nuclear capability as well. So the nations that didn't have this at one point in time, now they are able to say, you know what? I'm strong too. I'm able to defend myself as well. I may not have all what you have, but I got enough to put up a fight. Right? Scripture says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened. Come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, the place of judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right, so you're all going to be gathered to the Middle East, and you're all going to be judged. Okay, all you heathen, because the Lord has a controversy with you nations for Zion. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay, in these days, okay, this is what we are approaching. All right, and this is all prophesied in the holy scriptures of these things to come. Death, famine, destruction, World War III, missiles being shot off, okay, because that's dealing with World War III. You know, the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Esau, you know, about to show his horns, being the devil, and come down with great wrath, right? Against the children of Israel, first and foremost, and everyone else. All these things are prophesied in the scriptures. And the scriptures forewarn us, and the scriptures tell us what to do. All right? The scriptures don't tell us to, it doesn't tell us to gather ourselves together and make our own army to fight against this devil, or try to build black wealth or doomsday prep. The scriptures don't tell us these type of things. And no, I'm not saying, I'm not saying if you have a little extra money, get some things, that you may be able to feed your family, and be able to survive as long as you can before you go on a pilgrimage and things like that. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying be able to, buying all this land and creating all the Israelite communities and buying an Israelite bunker camp. Man, the Lord, no, man, we're not doing all that. You see? So let's get see what I got. Oh yeah, right. Since we was talking about Russia, that bear. I really want to read this real fast. The Book of Revelation. Let's see, I can't think of it at the moment. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Revelation 13, verse 2, it says, "And the beast which I saw was likened to a leopard." This is dealing with Alexander the Great. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. Now, this bear is dealing with who? Russia. Okay, now when E started to come back in power, who did they come up back in power under? The Greeks. Okay, this is when E started to rule and take everything over, it was through the Greeks. All right, Alexander the Great, Greek, and then it went to the Romans. All right, so it says, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. So this is dealing with the end. This is dealing with Russia, the bear. All right, and the Lord is bringing that Cold War spirit back into Russia. And the nations, right, the other, and some of the weaker nations are what? They're pairing up with Russia. And that's in the scriptures. It's the book of Ezekiel 38, verse 4. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So Russia is a guard unto these other nations. When you're dealing with Persia, who is that dealing with? Iran. All right, that's dealing with Iran. Iran is the modern day Persians. So the Russians are a guard into a lot of these smaller countries. and they're supplying them with some of their military weaponry or weaponry, Salakia, weaponry. As you see, Russia and the U.S. have 90% of the missiles. So Russia has enough to feed their allies as well. All right, so let's continue.
So the lesson is everyone has nukes now, but what exactly happens when these bombs go off?
If you're knocking over concrete buildings, you're going to blow people to pieces. So there's a range of going out from distance in which you die from the blast wave tearing you to pieces, the radiation burning you up, the light wave burning you or catching you on fire.
What happens when day one, a week later, a year later, what are we looking at?
Well, when a nuclear weapon explodes, it sends out a burst of light. It's like bringing a piece of the sun, which is
That mushroom cloud. That mushroom cloud. Where do we get that? And Salaki, I keep pausing it on you, man, because this is definitely a good video. Book of Isaiah 34, verse 4 says, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree." Right? So this is talking about that mushroom cloud. The heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Look at that. That's a mushroom cloud. You see, the scriptures are beautiful, man. The scriptures are the only book. The Bible is the only book that tells us what's going on and what to do.
There's nuclear explosions happening down to the earth. And that burst of light catches everything around it on fire.
That fire sends huge amounts of smoke into the stratosphere. But because it doesn't rain up there, it takes years for that smoke to clear, creating a nuclear winter.
Blocks sunlight from reaching the ground, which of course makes it cool off. It gets cold.
Salaki, I gotta hit these precepts, man. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 14, it says, "The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness." Check out what he just said. Let's roll back a couple seconds.
Down to the earth. And that burst of light catches everything around it on fire.
That fire sends huge amounts of smoke into the stratosphere. But because it doesn't rain up there, it takes years for that smoke to clear, creating a nuclear winter.
Blocks sunlight from reaching the ground, which of course makes it cool off. It gets cold at the ground. And people expect that about 90% of the global population will die from starvation because there won't be anything to eat.
The more I thought about nuclear winter, the more terrified I became. I needed a plan to survive the nuclear apocalypse before the world went to hell. So where do you go when you want to get off the grid? Kansas. Here in the heartland of rural Kansas, one man is offering millionaire preppers a high-tech way to avoid the apocalypse. Welcome to the Survival Condo. This former Cold War missile silo is now a luxury bunker built for the super rich. Going off the grid no longer means giving up a lavish lifestyle. Think of it kind of like Cribs in camo. From the outside, the security cameras, armoured guard, and 8-ton steel doors are the only sign you're entering a top-secret facility. In fact, this place is so top secret, I can't even tell you where it is. I'm here to meet the man behind the condo, Larry Hall, who's going to give me a full tour.
So Claire, those doors that we just came in through weigh 8 tons each. So they're 16,000 pounds. They're armored steel filled with concrete. So you definitely hear that safety bang when the door closes.
Inside, this 54,000 square foot complex boasts everything you could need to live through the end of days.
Okay, let's go down and show you what's underground.
Okay.
It's the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So that's their plan. Their plan is to, live through this nuclear destruction, all right, and live beyond, and that their kids may continue to dwell in safety, while the rest of the world is in distress, or while the rest of the world is desolate. All right, this is the thought. This is the mind of Esau.
Oh.
You're not in Kansas anymore. We're going beneath Kansas.
The survival condo is spread across 15 floors and goes 200 feet underground. At the top, under the dome, are the recreation facilities like the pet park and climbing wall. Underneath that are the mechanical level, medical bay, and food stores, with luxury living quarters spread across the next 7 floors. At the bottom, a further 4 floors house a classroom, a library, a bar, a gym, and a cinema.
All right, so I'll show you a full floor unit. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath unit, and they have 9-foot ceilings. You see we've got all these high-end stainless steel appliances.
And most importantly, even though I'm 11 stories underground, I've still got a window.
When these windows are all on, you're coming out of the units and you see the birds flying and the sunset coming up and the rain and the weather changing. That's the input your brain is used to. If you look in here, you can see that there's the bidet toilets, and we have a jacuzzi tub and a shower with the side jets.
Why do you have bidet toilets instead of regular toilets?
Well, interestingly, we did a little calculation, and the max occupancy for this facility is 75 people. And if we put toilet paper for 75 people for 5 years, that volume of toilet paper would take an entire floor to store just toilet paper. And that square footage costs about $3 million to build.
Okay,
so,
bidet it is.
Bidet it is.
Bidet it is.
You know that apps and websites are collecting your data.
Slovakia for
You
this.
know that some devices are
this
always
ad.
listening to you.
Pretty comfy. These are good mattresses. Welcome to the paradise of the beach. It's a saltwater pool. It's completely computer controlled. The pool is kept at 82 degrees. People do not expect to see a resort pool in an underground bunker. And we get drop jaws every time they go, "Are you kidding me?"
Another thing I wasn't expecting underground, so much space.
You've got a 24-foot rock climbing wall. This is a fun room. This is an indoor shooting range. You can come down here and shoot everything from handguns up to .308 caliber sniper rifles in here. So under proper supervision.
Of course.
So we have properly trained people.
Theater and lounge level.
So you see how Eve's plan is to live lavishly while the world is under fire. But hey, what you expect? This is Eve for you. So you can go check this out yourself, just from CNET. They got probably some pretty decent things on our channel. I'm gonna probably go check out, Lord willing. But just type in Inside the Doomsday Bunker for the super rich. Go check this video out for yourself. But I just wanted to touch on some things through the spirit. and I'm gonna continue to watch the video, Lord willing, watch the rest of it. I'm just watching the first little bit. The Spirit jumped on me to do a quick lesson, and Lord willing, I hope it may be edifying. So until then, till I do another lesson. Oh, yeah, you see it. You see it. Texas Maker Underground Survival Uncles. You see it. So they got all types of stuff. So, Lord willing, hope this lesson was edifying. Go check this video out yourself. And until next time, I want to say shalom.